Today was her wedding day, and Rose was the one walking her down the aisle. The ceremony was about to begin when a commotion was heard outside. The heavy wooden doors of the church swung open, and David stormed in, his face red with anger. The guests turned in shock, whispering amongst themselves. "Why wasn't I told about this?" David bellowed, marching down the aisle. "Why wasn't I invited? I'm her father, for crying out loud. I should be the one walking her down the aisle." Hey guys, welcome back to Mercy's Folktales. Gosh, how I've missed you all. Due to some unprecedented circumstances, I had to take a little break. But guess what? We are back, stronger and better than before. To everyone who reached out to me during my time away, I deeply appreciate you. And I love you all so much. Thank you for your patience and for sticking around. You mean the world to me. And to all our new viewers, welcome to the family. If this is your first time here, trust me, you wouldn't want to miss out on all the amazing stories we've got in store for you. Hit that subscribe button and join us as we take you on an endless journey of fun, lessons, and inspirations. Now, let's dive right into this amazing story. David was a highly successful banker, respected by many for his dedication and discipline. Despite his demanding career, he valued the importance of family and was deeply committed to his wife Rose and their young daughter Lily. However, his three closest friends, Dan, Mike, and Duke, had very different perspectives when it came to family life, which often led to lively and sometimes heated discussions among them. One evening, as they sat around enjoying drinks, the topic of family responsibilities came up. Mike, who was known for his constant disputes with his wife, leaned back in his chair and scoffed. "Let me tell you guys something," Mike began, his tone dismissive. "I don't stress myself over these family things. My wife knows her job, to take care of the kids. I'm their father and that's enough. I'm just waiting for them to grow up so I can start reaping the benefits of fatherhood. Sons will bring honor and daughters will bring bride price. Tradition is tradition." Dan and Duke burst out laughing, clinking their glasses with Mike's. "Mike, you are the smartest among us," Duke said, shaking his head in admiration. "You didn't come to this world to suffer. Your wife should handle the stress of raising kids. You've earned the right to sit back and enjoy the fruits later." David frowned, uncomfortable with the direction of the conversation. He cleared his throat and spoke up. "Mike, I don't think that's the right way to say things. Children are a joint responsibility. You can't just leave everything to your wife and expect to show up later when it's convenient for you. Being a father is more than just tradition. It's about being there for your kids, supporting them emotionally, and showing them how to be responsible adults." Mike smirked and waved him off. "David, you are too local. Anyway, you are still new to this marriage thing, so you don't understand how life works. You will see. African men don't have to stress over these things. Our role is to provide when we can and claim our rights later. That's how it's always been." Dan chimed in, nodding in agreement. "Exactly. Your wife will take care of the kids, and when they are grown, they will respect you as their father no matter what. That's the African way." David sighed, shaking his head. "Respect doesn't come from just being called father. It comes from being there, guiding them and earning their love and trust. If you neglect them now, how do you expect them to honor you later?" His words were met with laughter and dismissive gestures. "You will learn, David," Duke said with a grin. "Just give it time." Months later, David's attitude towards his wife Rose began to change gradually after their discussions with his friends Dan, Mike, and Duke. Their influence, combined with his growing ambition at work, started to shift his priorities. He began spending longer hours at the office, and on weekends, he often disappeared with his friends, leaving Rose alone to manage the home and their growing family. At first, Rose tried to understand. She believed he was working hard to secure their future, and she managed the household as best as she could, stretching every naira to keep things running smoothly. But things took a sharp turn when David stopped leaving money for family upkeep. Days would pass without him coming home, and when he did, his attitude was cold and distant. The once lovely household, filled with laughter and warmth, turned into a war zone almost overnight. Rose, who had always been calm and loving, found herself arguing with David at every opportunity. "David," she said one evening when he finally came home, "do you know how hard it is to feed, to pay school fees, to keep this house running? You've changed and I don't know why." David barely looked up from his phone. "I'm doing my best, Rose. Don't start with your complaint. Do you know how much stress I face at work?" "Stress?" Rose shot back, her voice trembling with frustration. "You spend more time with your friends than you do with your family. How is that stress? You've abandoned us, David. I can't keep doing this alone." "Then don't," he said coldly, standing up. "Isn't that what other women do? To handle the home, I provide when I can. That should be enough." Rose stared at him in disbelief. This wasn't the man she married, the man who once cared deeply about her and their family. The arguments became more frequent, with David dismissing her concerns and spending even more time away from home. Their daughter Lily noticed the tension and often cried herself to sleep, confused about why her parents were always fighting. Rosie's heart broke each time she saw the impact David's behavior had on their daughter, but she didn't know what else to do. The once loving household now felt like a battleground. The warmth and laughter that once defined their family were replaced by silence, resentment, and tears. Rose wondered if the man she fell in love with was gone forever, or if there was still a chance to save her family before it was too late. David's attitude reached an all-time low when he packed his belongings and left the house without a word. The only thing he left behind was a note for Rose that read, "Don't wait for me." It was as if he had erased himself from their lives, leaving Rose and Lily to fend for themselves. When Rose found the note, her knees buckled and she fell to the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. She cried and cried, her heart shattered into a million pieces. Lily, barely 7 at the time, couldn't understand what was happening. She tugged at her mother's dress, her innocent eyes filled with tears. "Mommy," she asked one day, her voice quivering, "is it because of me that Daddy left? Did I do something wrong?" Rose gathered her little girl in her arms, holding her tightly as tears streamed down her face. "Oh no, sweet child of mine," she whispered, her voice breaking. "You are not the reason he left. Don't ever think that. Daddy's leaving has nothing to do with you. You are my angel and I love you more than anything in this world. Don't worry. I promise to be there for you every step of your life." From that day on, Rose wiped her tears and made a vow to give Lily the best life possible. She worked tirelessly, taking her sewing career to the next level to ensure her daughter had everything she needed. Though life was hard, Rose never gave up. Her sacrifices were not in vain because Lily, inspired by her mother's strength, threw herself into her studies with determination. As the years passed, Lily grew into a brilliant young woman. She excelled in school, earning awards and recognition at every level. When she graduated from university with flying colors, Rose couldn't hold back her tears of pride. "Mom, I promised to make you proud, and I will never stop," Lily said, holding her mother's hand tightly. Soon after, Lily met Michael, a kind and hardworking young man who treated her with respect and love. They fell deeply in love, and before long, Michael proposed. Lily said yes, and the two began planning their future together. Despite all the challenges, Rose had been both mother and father to Lily, and they had grown inseparable. It was a bright Saturday morning, and the small church was filled with the sound of music and laughter. Lily, the beautiful bride, stood at the entrance of the church, her white dress sparkling in the sunlight. Her heart raced with excitement as her mother, Rose, held her hand tightly. Today was her wedding day, and Rose was the one walking her down the aisle. The ceremony was about to begin when a commotion was heard outside. The heavy wooden doors of the church swung open, and David stormed in, his face red with anger. The guests turned in shock, whispering amongst themselves. "Why wasn't I told about this?" David bellowed, marching down the aisle. "Why wasn't I invited? I'm her father, for crying out loud. I should be the one walking her down the aisle." Lily froze, her hands trembling. She hadn't seen her father in over 20 years. Rose stepped forward, her eyes calm but firm. "You lost that right the day you walked out on us, David," Rose said, her voice steady. "I've been here for Lily every single day of her life. Where were you when she needed you?" David looked around, his gaze falling on Lily. "Lily, I'm your father. Don't I deserve a chance to be part of your big day?" Lily took a deep breath and stepped forward. "Dad," she began, her voice shaking but strong. "You left us. You missed every milestone in my life. Today I am surrounded by people who have been there for me, who love me. My mom earned the right to walk me down the aisle, and there is nothing you can do about it." The room was silent. David looked down, his shoulders slumping. "I'm sorry, Lily. I promised to make things right." "It's too late," Rose said gently. "Today is about Lily's happiness, not your regrets." The crowd tackled on David, and soon security was seen escorting him out of the church. Lily turned back to Rose, tears in her eyes. "Mom, shall we?" Rose smiled, wiping her daughter's tears. Together they walked down the aisle, the love and strength between them shining brighter than ever. The guests erupted in applause, cheering for the mother who never gave up, and the daughter who chose love and loyalty over unsolved pain. David's life took a turn for the worse after he left Rose and Lily. At first, he thought he had made the right decision. He spent his days partying, enjoying the company of friends, and living a life of indulgence with different women. It was during this period he met Tracy, a high-class socialite who matched his carefree lifestyle. They quickly got married and had 2 sons, or so he thought. For a while, life seemed perfect. Tracy was the life of the party, and their home was always buzzing with activity. David's high-paying banking job supported their lavish lifestyle, and he felt invincible. But the good times came to a crashing halt when David was sacked from his job due to a scandal involving missing funds. His friends, who had once cheered him on, distanced themselves. The life he had built began to crumble. Tracy, who had once adored him, started showing her true colors. She insulted him, berated him for not being able to provide, and openly disrespected him in front of their sons. As the months dragged on, Tracy packed her belongings and left, leaving David with a bombshell confession. The boys he had raised as his own were not his biological children. David was dumbfounded. The betrayal shattered him. He lost his job, his home, and now his family. With nothing left, he found himself wallowing in sorrow and regrets. It was during this dark period that his mind wandered back to Rose and Lily, the family he had abandoned. Memories of Rosie's kindness and Lily's innocent smile haunted him. He realized how foolish he had been and decided to return to them, hoping for a second chance. But when he arrived at their doorstep, his heart sank. He was met with the heartwarming news that Lily was getting married that very day, and he had no part in it. David stood outside the church, watching as the celebration unfolded. The sounds of laughter and joy drifted through the windows, a stark contrast to the emptiness he felt inside. He saw Rose standing proudly beside Lily, the love and bond between them undeniable. Lily was radiant in her wedding dress, holding Michael's hand, ready to begin her new life. David's chest tightened with regret. This should have been his moment too, to walk his daughter down the aisle, to bless her marriage, to be part of her happiness, but he had forfeited that right years ago. Tears streaming down his face, the weight of his choices bore down on him, and for the first time, he truly understood the cost of abandoning the people who had loved him unconditionally. It was a lesson learned too late. He sat at the back of the church, watching the ceremony in silence. It was a painful reminder of what he had lost, but for Lily, it was a new day, a new beginning, and a cherished memories with the one person who had always been there, her mother. This story teaches us that parenthood requires active participation from both parents. Abandoning family responsibilities leads to long-term consequences, not just for the children, but also for the parent who neglects them. It also teaches us that choices have consequences. A strong woman can raise a strong child. Rosie's resilience and determination to provide for Lily, despite being abandoned, demonstrates the power of perseverance and unconditional love. Finally, a parent's role is priceless. Children need more than financial support. They need love, guidance, and presence. Neglecting these responsibilities often leads to fractured relationships and deep regrets. Thank you so much for watching. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please do. Like and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss out on any of our amazing stories. Bye.